And what we're saying is the Conservatives are the largest party. Note, they don't have an overall majority at this stage. 314 for the Conservatives, that's down 17. 266 for Labour, that's up 34. The SNP, the Scottish National Party, 34, down 22. Treat that figure with a bit of caution for technical reasons about the exit poll, which I don't need to explain right now. The Liberal Democrats on 14, up 6, and the smaller parties, Plaid Cymru stays on 3, the Greens on 1, none for UKIP, and the others 18. Well, the Prime Minister called this election because she wanted, as she put it, certainty and stability. And this doesn't seem, at this stage, to look like certainty and stability.
Nick Clegg, Liberal Democrats, 19,756.
In politics, you live by the sword and you die by the sword.
The electorate gives with one hand and takes away with the other.
Will you come back into active politics?
I would have absolutely no choice but to do exactly that.
I am standing down today as the leader of UKIP with immediate effect.
The result of the elections will have no major impact on the negotiations we are desperately waiting for.
The government I lead will put fairness and opportunity at the heart of everything we do, so that we will fulfil the promise of Brexit together and, over the next 5 years, build a country in which no one and no community is left behind.
You think the Prime Minister should go?
Absolutely, yes I do. I think she's failed completely. I think she has weakened her own position, not just within British politics, but she's weakened the UK's position with these renegotiations.
Nigel, I'm going to start with you. You brought your party and you brought this country to a place where Brexit became possible. Do you still believe that that Brexit that you envisioned will go ahead?
Well, Brexit will go ahead. I'm pretty certain of that. I mean, after all, 85% of people voted for pro-Brexit parties. One of the reasons Corbyn managed to hoover up those UKIP votes, he made it clear in the manifesto that Labour supports Brexit. Having said that, do I think now, today, that we're going to get the kind of Brexit that most of the voters thought they were going to get? I think that's imperiled. And I suspect what we're going to see is a government that will struggle to get things through the Commons. And I think we're probably headed towards a Norway-type situation 2.5 years down the road.
And that would be okay with you?
Well, look, Norway is better than where we are now, but it's certainly not what I want to finish up.
Is it enough to get you back into UKIP in a meaningful way?
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure of the answer to that right at this moment in time.
But you're considering taking on the position. I mean, Paul Nuttall said he'd happily swap your LBC radio show for the leadership, and he's gone now, so I guess there's a vacancy.
Well, can I just say I'm thinking about it? I mean, look, it's not top of my bucket list. For me, getting the referendum, forcing the referendum and helping to win it, I thought I was done with it. I'm going to watch very carefully, but I do think now we will see backsliding.
Are you back in British politics now as a result of what we've seen overnight?
Well, let's see what happens. I mean, you know, I came into politics from the commodities trading business.
Well, I know, we work for the same company.
Because I know I wanted Brexit to happen. I saw it as the way forward for a global trading nation. And as of this time yesterday, that was all on course. Article 50 was triggered. We'd made it pretty clear what we were looking for in these negotiations. And now this morning, you know, we see cabinet ministers saying, well, maybe we're going to have to rethink leaving the single market or leaving the customs union. If the Brexit the British people voted for gets betrayed, I would have no choice but to throw myself back into full-time campaigning.
She says this is going to be a Brexit government, and I think the appointment of the Chief of Staff, this Gavin Barwell character who lost his seat in central Croydon, I mean, not just a Remainer, but, I mean, really abusive about anybody that wanted to leave the EU or that wanted to control immigration numbers coming to Britain. And it's difficult to see, you know, how we're going to go into a Brexit negotiation with a Prime Minister who clearly doesn't really believe in it herself, surrounded by these influences.
What should she have been doing over the weekend, or what should she be doing today?
Well, I do think that the appointment of the Chief of Staff matters, because the Prime Minister is obviously incredibly busy and relies on her right-hand man to keep her up to date. And I mean, you know, somebody neutral might have been all right. I would have preferred, if it is going to be a Brexit government, somebody had been a Brexiteer. And I find that perhaps the most worrying appointment of all.
So, should we really be bringing on Boris Johnson?
Well, I have to say, when Jeremy Paxman asked her 4 times in that interview, you were a Remainer last year, do you now believe in Brexit? And all she could do was to mouth, I will carry out the will of the people. I thought, you know what? We're about to go into perhaps the most difficult set of international negotiations in our lifetime. If you don't believe in what you're doing, what chance is there? So I think she has to go. And I do think if it's going to be a Brexit government, that somebody who believes in it must be in position. And what is fascinating is that John McDonnell and Jeremy Corbyn yesterday were clearer about the need for us to leave the European Union and indeed the impossibility of us staying in the single market than ever before. So they're about to be outflanked on Euroscepticism by the Labour Party. You couldn't invent it.
How long has she got, Nigel?
Well, I wouldn't have thought very long. I think when you're forced to get rid of your key aides around you, it shows just what a weak position you're in. Let's see how the meeting goes with the backbench MPs tonight. Certainly those that I've spoken to are incredibly worried. She is fatally damaged. It is just a question of time.